All right, today we're jumping straight into some pretty mind-bending ideas from the book Beyond the Illusion. We're going to challenge pretty much everything you think you know about reality, and yeah, even about yourself.
I mean, think about it. It's the most fundamental question, right? We go through our entire lives just trusting what our eyes see, what our ears hear. But what if that trust, what if it's a little misplaced?
Okay, so first up, let's talk about reality itself, the big one. We're going to dig into this idea that what we're all experiencing, right now, this very moment, is actually what the book calls a useful illusion. Kind of wild, right?
So look at it this way. On one hand, reality feels, well, real, right? It feels solid, immediate. The chair you're sitting on right now feels pretty darn real. But then, on the other hand, you have science telling us that chair is mostly empty space, just a wild dance of energy. See? There's this huge gap between how it feels and what it is. Our experience isn't raw, unfiltered reality, it's a translation.
And the book has this perfect metaphor for this. Think of your brain not as a clear window you look through, but more like a super advanced VR headset. It's taking in all this raw data, light waves, sound vibrations, all that stuff, and it renders a smooth, believable world just for you. So yeah, it's kind of like a simulation, a really, really good one.
And this right here is the key idea. You don't actually experience reality directly, not ever. What you're experiencing is your brain's version of reality. The colors you see, the sounds you hear, those things aren't out there in the world. They're experiences being created inside your head.
And this VR headset in our skulls, it's incredibly picky. I mean, our senses didn't evolve to show us the whole truth of the universe. No way. They evolved to keep us alive. So they filter out pretty much everything. We're talking radio waves, X-rays, you name it. What we get is just this tiny, simplified slice of reality that's useful for, not getting eaten.
All right, so if the outside world is a construction, what does that mean for our inner world? Let's take that same idea and turn it inward. It's time to deconstruct that story that we all call me. I mean, it sounds simple, right, doesn't it? Who are you? You've got a name, a bunch of memories, a personality. But what happens if you start peeling all those labels away? What's actually left at the very center? You know, the philosopher David Hume was wrestling with this hundreds of years ago? He tried to look inside himself to find some kind of stable, solid me, but he couldn't find it. All he ever found was this constant, flowing river of thoughts, feelings, and sensations. There was no single thinker pulling the strings. And that leads us to a really radical idea. That solid, continuous you that you feel like you are, moment to moment, it's not actually a thing. It's not some little person sitting in your brain. It's a story, a narrative. It's something your brain is constantly creating, weaving together memories, labels, experiences, everything. And listen, this is more than just a cool thought experiment. When you realize the self is a story, it can actually free you from its limits. It's a character you play, a useful one for sure, but it isn't the final, unchangeable truth of who you are. So this ego, this story of me, is basically just another one of those useful illusions. It's a super important tool for surviving in the world. The problem isn't having an ego. We all need one. The real issue is when we completely mistake that tool for who we truly are.
And this whole idea, it goes even deeper. So next, we're going to see how the very fabric of our world, I'm talking about things we totally take for granted, like time and the feeling of being separate, are also just constructs happening inside our minds.
Just think about a couple of illusions we deal with every single day. First, time. It feels like this constant, steady river flowing forward, right? But our experience of it is totally psychological. You know how it speeds up when you're having fun and drags when you're bored? Then there's separation. We feel like we're these solid, separate people. But get down to the microscopic level and we're constantly swapping matter and energy with everything around us. The boundaries just aren't as solid as we think.
The book uses this really beautiful metaphor to get at this idea. It says we tend to think of ourselves as a single wave, separate from the rest of the ocean. But a wave isn't separate at all, is it? A wave is the ocean, just taking on a temporary shape. And in that same way, maybe we are the universe, just expressing itself as a person for a little while.
And hey, if you need a powerful reminder of how much our perception literally creates our reality, get this. Right now, you probably feel perfectly still, but you are on a planet that is spinning at roughly 1,000 miles per hour. 1,000! And your brain just edits that entire reality out so you can feel stable. That's incredible.
Okay, so let's recap. If our perception of reality is an illusion, and the self is an illusion, and even time and space are illusions, then what's actually left? I mean, what is fundamentally, truly real?
This is really the ultimate question the book is driving at. If the character you play, the world you're in, the whole plot, if it's all a mental construction, then what's the one thing that isn't part of that story?
The answer, it turns out, is awareness. Just pure awareness. It's not a thought, it's not a feeling, it's the silent, empty space where all of your thoughts and feelings show up. Think of it like a movie screen. The movie of your life is constantly changing. All the drama, the action, the comedy, but the screen itself, that underlying awareness, it never changes. It's just there, untouched.
And the cool thing is, this isn't just some abstract philosophical concept. It's something you can actually practice. The path it suggests is pretty simple, really. First, just watch your thoughts come and go. Second, start to question the beliefs that build your reality. And as you do that, you start to notice that awareness that's always been there, underneath it all.
And that's the final, huge shift in perspective. You stop thinking of yourself as just the character in the story. You realize you are also the awareness in which the entire story is happening. You're not just the actor on the stage, you're the silent space that holds the entire play.
So that leaves us with one last really provocative question to think about. If the you that you've always thought you were is just a character in a story, and the real you is the awareness watching that story unfold, then who or what is actually living your life?